At this moment, Jingwen was the first to step forward and agree. Even if he were to starve to death, he would not speak a word of it. The others followed suit, echoing his promise. Then you continued to explain to them that your magical power depended on the number of followers you had. The larger your household and enterprises grew, the more people under your command, the more powerful your magic would naturally become. Hearing this, Jamie pondered hard. In this era of famine, where everyone struggled to eat their fill, the one thing not lacking was the number of people. Those recruited would even be grateful. And in the following days, just building the village alone took a full 4 months. Currently, the construction team assembled by Boss Wang had 200 people. The few young girls were slowly growing into adults. Jin Yi, in particular, was becoming increasingly mature. He walked along the street with the 4 main attendants. Jin Yi reported while walking, a small notebook in hand. Out of over 200 shops, only about a dozen merchants temporarily had taverns. As for grain shops, whether they were established or not, they were all essentially our family's business. You nodded. Our population here is still not large, having just surpassed 800 people. The spending power is insufficient. It's no wonder we can't attract merchants. Thinking this, you ask how much the divine nectar sells for now. After all, this wine is no longer sold in the town shops. It's supplied directly to powerful major merchants. The current price is 500 coins per gin, producing 900 gin a day. That's 52 taels of silver. But this amount of money is too large. I'm afraid it might attract unwanted attention from certain people. We need to make some preparations. Understood, Master. I will begin selecting suitable martial practitioners. We'll form a village guard unit. As you say this, you retrieve a modern training manual from the system. Moreover, we must cultivate these guards' loyalty. You recall news you heard a few days ago. A general rebelled in the north, allowing barbarian tribes through the pass towards the capital's emperor. You must be feeling deeply troubled. You certainly don't want the people you've nurtured to one day turn around and storm in here causing destruction. Jeannie's eyes also light up looking at the book's contents. Trained like this, they can properly protect our property and protect the good life we've worked so hard to create. Then you remember something else. In a few more days, the sweet potatoes should be ready for harvest. You tell Jeannie to prepare. Soon, hundreds of people from the estate arrive at the fields to harvest. A man is seen brushing away the soil. He sees a sweet potato about the size of his fist. An excited smile spreads across his face, though these sweet potatoes had nothing to do with them. The farmers couldn't suppress their instinctive joy at the sight of such bountiful food. This one is enormous. One is enough to feed me. The master said everyone can taste them after today's harvest. They're said to be quite delicious. There seem to be more over here. But as soon as the man finished digging this one up, he found another and then more. The deeper he dug, the expression on his face slowly shifted from excitement to fear. Can this be happening in broad daylight? How can so much food grow from this earth? Meanwhile, an elderly man was also digging. Staring at this unreal reality before him, his laughter gradually turned into tears. If we had this back then, my third son wouldn't have starved to death. And he just stayed at the edge of the field, sitting in a comfortable armchair, faced with the scenes, wanting to compose a poem, but lacking the refinement, could only silently sip your tea. The 4 head maids were also nearby, sitting together discussing the family's various businesses. Just then Wang Dehu came running over sweating profusely, shouting with both excitement and terror. Master, everyone has gone mad. Many are gnawing on raw sweet potatoes, crying and laughing while eating. You stood up and gazed into the distance for a moment. You simply said calmly, "It's not a big problem. Everyone is just overjoyed." Not long after, Jingling gathered some emotionally stable people. They began measuring, digging, and calculating. The first plot yielded 3,700 jin. The second plot nearly broke 4,000 jin. Then came the third, fourth, and fifth plots. 5 plots in different locations. Finally averaged 3,800 jin. Once the data came out, everyone was stunned. If all over 200 acres were dug up, the yield would have to be 8,000 jin. This could ensure millions would not go hungry, though it only meets the basic requirement of survival. You originally thought building a village for 1,000 would take ages. Unexpectedly, one sweet potato harvest has driven many wild. More and more people are coming to your village, and the long-awaited voice finally rings in your ears. Congratulations, upgrade conditions met. System upgraded to village tier system. New village tier purchase list added. New various functions added. Unit setup authority granted. Currency rights obtained. Upgrade to the next level available. A town requires 50,000 people. Then you call the 4 girls over for a meeting. First item on the agenda. I am going to establish a village from now on. This place will be called Peach Spring Village. Does anyone have any objections? The 4 girls nod in unison. Whatever makes the master happy. Hearing this, you feel a bit helpless. Sisters, could you show a little more engagement? You could at least ask me why our village is named Peach Spring Village. I was all ready to recite the tale of the peach blossom spring, and then muse about how ours is a haven of peace within the bustling world. But you are not giving me the chance. You are stifling the master's joy. Thinking of this, you let out a helpless sigh. Very well then. The first item is passed. The second is the village needs a chief. I recommend Jing Yi to be the village chief, because you only wish to be a carefree idler. After the announcement, Jingwen looks excited. because Big Sister has become the village chief. It all feels like a dream. Next is the third item. We need to establish village administrative positions, besides the chief. The other 3 girls will be deputy chiefs. A few more functional departments are needed to handle household registration and public security. All of this needs to be built up gradually. Soon after, at the village entrance, a man-sized stone was engraved with the 3 large characters, Taoyuan Village. The village committee office was established very low-key. They just put up a sign. There was a notice board by the entrance. Next to it is the newly built village security station. There is a corner room at the gate of the village committee compound. It has windows on 2 sides offering a view outside. Jingxi's eldest brother's son Daju is currently sitting in this corner room. His gaze is vigilant, scanning the surroundings. Even though there isn't a single person around, he doesn't dare relax in the slightest. After all, he just took up the post. He really wants to make a good impression. The security station was just established. 3 team leaders were appointed. They are the fathers of Jingxiu, Jinwen, and Jinyuan. The security team temporarily has over a dozen people. Apart from a few teenage boys, the rest are elderly aunties and grannies, or disabled people who can still get around. Besides being responsible for Taoyuan Village's security and sanitation, they also handle guard duties, including for the village committee bank. The village committee compound is quite similar to the Lin family compound. Right now, the first meeting is being held in the main conference room of the central courtyard. Jinny sits solemnly in the main seat. He is dividing up everyone's work assignments. Jingxiu will be in charge of financial matters. He will take over responsibility for the commercial street. The most crucial task is attracting businesses. We need to liven up the street as soon as possible. Understood, elder sister. We must use titles at the village committee. Understood, village chief. Next, Jinwen will oversee village construction projects. The police officer will manage village security and public order. The reason for this arrangement is simply because the officer is the youngest. So we're giving him the busiest post for experience. The most important matter is saved for last. That is a raise in salary for all of them. He then moved to distribute their wages for 10 days in advance. Hearing this, Jingxiu stood up and pulled a small pouch from her robe. Inside was a stack of multicolored paper. This is the currency produced by your system. I'm sure everyone watching knows what it looks like. After all, you have an endless supply. Here, 1 copper coin equals 10 cents. After the meeting, everyone went to their posts. Many young maids now reside in the central courtyard. Some were bought by Jinny, but most were sent by villagers. After all, the 4 maids you purchased are now living in the limelight. To say that every family with a daughter has no particular thoughts about it, Jinny would find that 10,000 times unlikely. Jinny is wary of these maids who have parents and families. No one is allowed to enter the rear courtyard freely. 2 maids have already been driven out of the manor recently. If anyone does something even more outrageous, like trying to seduce the master, then the whole family will be thrown out. Fortunately, nothing like that has happened. Everything is developing in the best possible way. But today, several uninvited guests arrived in the village. A carriage led by a coachman slowly approached. 4 minor officials followed behind to collect taxes. Upon reaching the village entrance, the old man dozing in the carriage opened his cloudy eyes, but when he lifted the curtain to look, he was quite startled. Clean buildings stretched along both sides as far as the eye could see. Even Qingyu Town paled in comparison. So he asked somewhat incredulously, "Is this really Taoyuan Village? Are you sure we haven't taken a wrong turn?" His attendant was also uncertain. This place was nothing like the village he had imagined. Then another attendant pointed at a stone marker and said, "Master, look, it does say Taoyuan Village here. If that's it, then good. Let's go in." The further they went inside, the more astonished the group became. Shops lined both sides selling wine, grain, cloth, meat, and cooked food. There was even one with an inn signboard. One building had an exceptionally large signboard. It read, Taoyuan Village Bank. Another massive signboard, Taoyuan Village Commercial Street Leasing Center. Seeing this, the attendant asked, somewhat puzzled, "Master, what are this bank and leasing center for? I am not sure either. Let's go in and have a look." With that, Master Wu Shang got down from the carriage and walked with his attendant to the leasing center entrance. Master Wu Shang saw a young man in gray linen clothes approach. Although his clothes were ordinary, they were not torn or worn at all. The young man was full of vitality and asked very politely, "Good day, sir. Are you here to lease a shop or for other business?" Master Muso nodded. "I have not been here before, so I came in to see what this place is about." The young man in linen began to explain. "All vacant shops on this street are available for lease, and the first 3 months are rent-free. If you are unsure what business to start, we can also offer some recommendations. Taoyuan Village is currently rebuilding from the ground up, with a constant influx of people. Wages here are also quite high, so the spending potential is enormous. The future looks very promising." Hearing this, Master Wu Shang thought the young man was quite young, but he certainly had a silver tongue and a pleasant voice to match. Just like that, the two chatted for a good while before finally stepping out. They did emerge, however. They left behind a tail of silver inside. It was a deposit to rent a small shop front. At this point, the attendant asked again, "Master, shall we still go check out that bank thing across the street?" "No need to go. That young fellow already explained it to me. I'm not about to trade solid silver for paper notes. No one can pull the wool over this master's eyes. My vision is sharp and discerning. Having said that, the two set off by carriage for the village council. The attendant grumbled inwardly. Wonder who it was that just paid a deposit. Soon after, their carriage arrived at the village council compound. Someone had already reported that one of the township's 3 elders, Elder Wu Xiang, had arrived. So the moment he reached the council gate, Lin Sher emerged from a side room. Feigning complete ignorance, he asked, "What business brings you here, sir?" Elder Wu's attendant stepped forward, chin held high, and said, "Our master is Elder Wu of Qingyu Township. Summon your village chief." Upon hearing this, Lin Sher scurried inside in a fluster, even stumbling and nearly falling. Moments later, Lin Jini walked out with 2 young girls. "Greetings, Elder Wu. I am Lin Jini, the village chief of Taiyuan Village." I had heard people say it before, that the village chief was just a young girl, but when she appeared right in front of me, it was still hard to believe, and what a beautiful girl she was, with such a healthy glow. Her posture and demeanor were entirely that of a young lady from a noble family.